Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to That's Life, Ms. and Ryan, That's Life podcast, episode number 2. That's life. I feel sad. I feel sad using Graham Potter's
Everything reminds
phrase.
me of him.
Everything reminds me of him, man. Everything. I mean, this podcast will forever go down in Graham Potter's name, Ryan. I mean, how you feeling, Ryan? Talk to me.
Bro, as I said, everything reminds me of him. Like, for example,
Even
you
your
know,
shadow?
in IPL today, the boys give everything on our pitch,
Let's get
uh,
everything.
fielding, batting, and everything reminds me of the great Graham Stephen Potter, bro. What could have been, bro?
I can just smell him in the air.
Mm,
I think that might be my
yeah,
my own smell coming from the backside, but
no, that,
that's
that
that.
that's Graham Stephen Potter, bro. He's with us, bro. He's with
He's
us.
with
He's
us.
always with us.
He's with us
You
in
know.
spirit. Ryan,
Yeah.
let's. We didn't get to have a conversation with you yesterday. Things were chaotic. There was news popping every 5 minutes. Just all the news, Twitter accounts. Just you know that meme, that cat that just keeps slamming on the keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
that
felt like
was
that.
yesterday.
It felt like that. How, are you surprised, Ryan? Are you shocked? Are you relieved? Are you upset? Are you angry? How are you feeling about Graham Potter being sacked?
Now, to be honest, bro, I am quite relieved. And in the times when I saw improvements with him, I gained some positivity that maybe it could probably work if it kept on this trajectory. And then very soon enough, throughout the improvements, he started showing that he kept making certain mistakes that's inexcusable. It just showed that he just wasn't cut out for this level. Things like not having a plan B tactically after his plan A, the wrong substitutions in the second half, the wrong mentality given to the team. A lot of things were just inexcusable, and it showed that he wasn't quite the standard for a team that needs to be pushing. And a lot of people um, says Miz, he's not what we need to win titles. But honestly, the truth of the matter of fact is he wasn't what we need to be ninth or eighth or seventh or sixth or fifth either.
11th,
So,
bro.
so
We're
forget
11th.
about trophies, forget about titles. We weren't even good enough to be in the top half of the table. We won 10th for months and now we're on to 11th.
Mm.
So when you think about it, it I just felt that it was the right time now if you needed to salvage something in the season. You talked about financially how important European football could be. There's
Mm.
still something to play for, 10 games left. There's still
Yeah.
UCL to play for. We can't just throw the towel in. And I think that it's late now to make that decision, but it's it's now better than later, even though it's already late. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely understandable, man. Do you know, I've been seeing a lot of articles and a whole heap of tweets from different journalists, and all of a sudden, like literally, I saw 2 3 weeks ago, most of these journalists saying how much the players enjoyed collaborating with Graham Potter, and the vibe was very positive, and um, the group is together, fighting for each other. And then now, all of a sudden, once the news has transpired that he's gone, and every other news outlet and all these same journalists that were saying a couple of weeks ago how things were okay and how the owners were backing Graham Potter, now they're all saying it was never good. He was never respected. He was never liked. Um, and now it's like, I understand how this is how I felt all along. But at the same time, I kind of want to sympathize as well. And I want to see if you sympathize. I know you went through a moment where you truly did believe in him, and the Pottermania was strong. I mean, he was somewhat thrown in the deep end too with all these players. That's been thrown at him, and big egos as well. And I know that's probably his, yeah, I suppose, not having the ability to control that. But at the same time, did our owners, the board, actually set up an environment for him to get some of type of a hold? I mean, it was a bloated squad. He was just getting used to the ones that
Oh
he took
my
over
God.
from. I don't know. I don't know. Do you
Miss, what
sympathize?
the hell are you talking about, bro? I don't know if you're talking from your brain or you're just reading an athletic article or something. I don't know what you're doing, bro. Like,
I'm just trying to
bro,
play
reading
devil's
that latest
advocate, bro.
Matlow article, bro. I don't know what on earth you talking about here. Like, you reading some eulogy or something. Well, let me tell you something, bro. This man had
Talk to
everything he
me,
needed to
bro.
succeed at Chelsea, and he just wasn't good enough. He wasn't
Yeah,
good enough to be a leader for a project. A project manager needs to lead a project to win. It was quite
mm,
the opposite at Chelsea. At Chelsea, Graham Potter became the project. The focus left the team on being the focus left from improving the team to improving Graham Potter. The
that's
focus
mad.
left on training the team to training Graham Potter. It wasn't about getting the team to Chelsea quality anymore. It was getting Graham Potter to Chelsea quality. When that is the case, it is time to pack shop and go. I'm so happy that it happened now. Enough with all these sad story, blah blah blah. We are on to important business now. The sun is rising in Australia right now, as you see. It's a new day. Graham Stephen Potter, thank you that we are in the Champions League quarterfinal. Thank you
Brian,
for serving our club. Let's
what
move on.
happened to
We have some important names lined up,
but
Miz.
but Ryan, what happened to Pottermania? We need to do, like, you were buzzing. What happened
Bro,
to
the
that,
only mania
Ryan?
I know is WrestleMania. Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes last night. The tribal chief is there. You know what I mean? The bloodline is still there. That's the only mania I know, Miz.
That is the only mania, That is the only mania. I mean, look, he's gone. He's gone, and
Miz, I love how this woke you up there, bro. I think that was a little caffeine you needed, bro.
yeah, I
That,
did, I
like,
did,
what
I
on
did.
earth you talking about, Miz?
I'm,
You know
I'm
what I
trying to
mean?
play. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, Ryan, because everyone knows. Look, everyone knows how I feel about Grandpa. I never really. I wanted him gone a long time ago. But uh, just sometimes I think it's wise to sort of
Bro,
also
trying to give the
see
other side of the coin.
the other side of the coin. Maybe in this time there
Bro,
doesn't need
trying to
to
throw
be.
away that Potter coin, bro. Get some new coins, man. That currency it doesn't count anymore. Get some new currency. Let's get
Oh,
that Enrique coin in, please.
in this instant, there doesn't need to be the other side of the coin. No problems. No problems.
Throw that coin
Ryan,
in our well, bro. And I wish him well.
throw that coin away. Throw that coin away. Nagelsmann names getting thrown around. Thomas
Mm.
Tuchel's name. It's not Thomas Tuchel's name. That
Oh
guy.
my.
I can't forget this guy's name, bro. He's in my head, forever etched in my memories.
Miss
Luis
you having a
Enriquez.
howler, bro.
Yeah, I'm absolutely having a howler.
Isn't it say Luis Diaz?
Lu- Instead of Luis Enrique, I'd probably
Right,
say
Luis
Enrique
Diaz coming.
Iglesias. Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique
Uh,
Iglesias. Right. Yeah, bro. That's what we need at Chelsea, bro.
we need a bit of Enrique Iglesias, man. Okay, let,
Yeah.
let's let's talk a little bit about Nagelsmann, and maybe you can talk in tandem with Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique. A lot of people wanting to know, Ryan, what's the difference between the two? I want to know why. Give me the explanation. Why should I go with one or the other? What is the difference between them? The philosophy between each other. What do they each bring? Who best suits, or what can they do with the squad that we have? Nagelsmann seems like Ryan is the favorite, but there will be a proper interviewing procedure that's going to take place, and
You know what,
we
Miz?
apparently have 5 candidates. So what's your
You know what,
thoughts,
Miz?
man?
I'm the captain now. How about you tell me? You tell me what you think about the names being thrown out and who do you want at Chelsea? And I'll tell you after who I want.
um I want Luis Enrique, Ryan. I want Luis
Luis
Enrique.
Enrique.
The reason I want Luis Enrique is I need a particular figure that's going to be respected. Number one, when he walks into the dressing room, demands respect. regardless of who we have in our squad. Luis Enrique is a legend of this game, legend of Barcelona.
In modern football, in modern football, he's the
In
big one of the biggest names as it get in modern
yes,
football.
yes, yes, yes. And I look back at his tenure at Barcelona, and a lot of people will tell me, but Miz, what about what has he done outside? Look, let's focus on the Barcelona bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 seasons there, and he's won everything there. And the caliber of players he had, not just Suarez, Neymar, Messi, but many other ones, to be able to handle that level of ego on a day-to-day basis and win all of those trophies in that 3 seasons span, that's no coincidence. People say, oh, my nan can manage that. Well, okay, let's see your nan do that. Do you know what I mean? Let's see your nan do that. You think it's
Calling out
that
people
easy?
Nan and stuff, bro. What did Nan do to you, bro? Nan probably making cookies, enjoying in the morning. You just calling out people grandma.
Nan's gonna is gonna be put to bed by by
Oh
those
my,
players, man.
bro, cutting a promo on people's grandmother because they don't want Luis Enrique and
Look, people think it's just a bit of a child's play and taking over some of these names. It's not. It's difficult. So look, and it's structured. 4-3-3. Not too much time taken into build up. Just getting the ball to the front three immediately for them to do the damage. The midfielders come in and join. Midfielders are more proper engineers. Do you know what I mean? Fullbacks, well, we have traditional fullbacks that's going to overlap.
do you think do you think do you think Enrique is better than Nagelsmann tactically? Because we could all agree that from a man management point of view, Enrique has more experience. I mean, even people who want Nagelsmann in would say that.
Mm-hmm.
But from a tactical point of view, do you think that Enrique is better than Nagelsmann? Especially in
Um,
in in, in most recent work too?
I think this is a very fantastic question you've put up. I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
tactically
it's
Nagelsmann
me,
is
bro.
probably it's you, bro. Look, I think tactically in the modern era, Nagelsmann. The way I see Nagelsmann, Ryan, is it, it's not a set structure. It's very much possessional play. Like I've seen Bayern, and it's mad. Sometimes I've even seen Leroy Sané as right wing back. I've seen Serge Gnabry as left wing back. I've seen sometimes Kimmich dropping in between the CBs. I've seen sometimes Goretzka being in left. Like it's positional play. Like it's where the game is leading and who needs to go where. Like it's great. It is seems like the future of football, modern football. No one is set. It's very fluid, but it will take time for players to grasp that concept. I feel so tactically, I think he's far more, out there, more outlandish than Luis Enrique. But it will take a bit longer, and I don't know if every player will be able to grasp that.
You think so? Especially our players. A guy like Enzo Fernandez, João Felix.
Do you think players like Mudryk and Nuni Madueke and even Mount to a degree, they'll be able
I,
to pick up that style of Nagelsmann's play immediately? They
I
struggled. They
think
struggled with Potter.
I don't think it was a Potter philosophy thing. I think it was sometimes it's not the message is the messenger.
Mm,
And I believe that Nagelsmann is a really good trainer. I think the message, I think, listen, I'm not saying we're going to get, I think it's kind of equal. When it comes down to a coaching point of view, they would both get their messages around at the same time, I believe. I don't believe one is better at getting across their message faster than
mm,
the other. I mean, even if I were to make a assumption like that, it's not very grounded in anything because we haven't really seen any of these managers come in and put the philosophy in from day one, right?
no, I haven't.
Like what
Yeah.
a Tuchel has done. I think, I think, to be honest, both managers differ tactically, but I find them to be, I can't say equally as good because one has achieved more than the other in this game. But you have to
Mm,
remember, one has been around more than each other in this game too. But I
True.
would say both would give something positive tactically to Chelsea. But at the end of the day, I would go with Luis Enrique because, as you said, that prowess to his name, it
Mm.
commands respect and commands authority. I think
Do,
that
do you feel that is what is kind of stopping you with Nagelsmann? That you're worried that he won't get that buy-in from the players. Some players might look at him and also go, "Who are you?" Like, I mean, there's some information floating around that apparently our owners are worried that Nagelsmann's a bit too young for this job. He's 35. Like, could that is that what's sort of stopping you thinking? Would some of our players just may not buy into him?
I think that I don't think they would not buy into him. I think it's not like what they would and would not. I just go in with probability here. You know what I mean? So it's not
Mm,
like black or white. They would buy into Enrique, they may not buy into the thing. I think
true.
it's just a higher probability that someone who they watch as a child on TV win Champions League with Messi and Neymar, and then they come in front of your face and give you instructions, they would be like, wow, I'm going to listen to this man because he knows what he's talking about. He's
Good point.
seen, listen, let me tell you something. If a
Tell me
manager tells
something,
you
bro.
to,
Tell me
if a
something.
manager tells you to do A, B, and C, because I've seen Messi and Neymar and these quality of players do A, B, and C, and I want you to reach that level.
Mm.
Players would be like, okay, you have seen the best, you know what it takes for me to reach the best with these instructions. Graham Potter came in. The best he's seen was who's some attackers from Brighton? Who he used to have?
Solly Marsh.
Yeah, like Solly Marsh. So it used to be like,
No
okay,
disrespect, by the way.
A, B, and C. I've seen Solly Marsh do it. They'd have players like Jean Felix and these guys that think, well, what on earth am I? How would you know what it takes to be the best player in the world with your instructions? So I do believe that Nagelsmann have that experience at Bayern for 1 year and
Mm.
a half, I believe it was. He does. He have
Yes.
seen high quality players. He's won trophies. He's done it really well. But I think there's a next level to it. And Luis Enrique is in next level to it. A next thing I want to ask you too is everybody's
Mm.
saying like it's a video game, it's like FIFA, so you just pick your manager, right? And it has attributes. Do you think Nagelsmann would be in the right headspace to take up a job like Chelsea, one of the most difficult jobs in world football right now? The most difficult jobs in world football, the biggest project in world football, with so much pressure right now in UCL, 10 games left. Do you think he's in the right mindset after 2 weeks ago getting fired from his dream job? Whereas Luis Enrique has had months off, he's ready and raring to go. He even said in an interview he wants English football.
Yeah. 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 Like, this is another issue. This is what I've put out as well. I, you know what, Ryan? When I give my opinion on these matters, I try and give a realistic scenario, something maybe I've gone through in my life, not footballing wise, but trying to sort of resemble the situation. If I was in a position where I'm working for a company and I get ruthlessly sacked like that with no sort of indication that I was going to get sacked, I'm doing well, I'm performing well, and all of a sudden you pull me to a room and then you say, see you later. Uh, that will mess with my mind for a little bit. Like that, I would find it difficult to sleep for a little bit. I know a lot of people say, "Nah, it's a cutthroat industry. Just sleep it off, man. Like, let's move on to." No, it's not that easy. I've read some articles that apparently Nagelsmann, he was a fan of Bayern Munich. I don't know whether this is true or
Yes,
not. Like, he's
he
a
was
fan
a
of Bayern.
childhood fan. He had a
So,
5 year contract in his childhood, like stuck in Frank Lampard.
like, surely that would damage him mentally to a certain degree for a little bit of time. So that literally, as you said, happened 2 weeks ago. And I'm pretty certain he's still like bedazzled by it. Like, what went down? What happened? What is it? Just because I rode a skateboard to training ground? Is it because I went on a holiday after the Bayer Leverkusen loss? Like, is that it? Is that why I'm getting sacked? Like, that kind of thing kind of takes a bit of time to process. Which Thomas Tuchel as well. Similarly, he just got sacked, right? The results weren't great, yes, but it felt like a bit premature as well with Thomas Tuchel. We could have given him a bit more time, and Thomas Tuchel had the pleasure to process that. He went away to India. He did that lovely podcast in Goa. Do you know what I mean? He had a bit of time to assess what happened. Nagelsmann hasn't had that. Like, and then we're asking him to now take over a pressure cooker situation at Chelsea. Okay, 10 games, Champions League quarterfinal against Real Madrid. Let's get going. Owners already expecting that we can win the Champions League. Ron, I don't know, man. Is
And
this guy ready?
people saying that, it's what, listen, and I do believe that there's a good probability that Nagelsmann could do really good things at Chelsea.
Mm,
And I would never ever compare Nagelsmann to Potter because that is a disrespect on Nagelsmann game. He has achieved
mm,
a lot in this game in a very young career, right?
mm. Yeah, of
He's one of the
course.
best young managers in the world, and
Yeah.
right by his CV, not only by potential. And I think that honestly, people talk about experience with players, right?
Mm,
That Luis Enrique would have better experience managing certain players. But think about the type of board environment at Barcelona at the time Luis Enrique was there. He had the kind of
mm,
personalities Luis Enrique had to deal with on not only the Barcelona board, which is a difficult board we know about, but
mm.
even the Spain national team board, and even the media pressure in Spain
Yeah.
compared to media pressure of Spain leading into a World Cup and a Euro Cup too. So
Mm,
the amount of experience this man has not only tactically, but with dealing with different stakeholders within
yeah.
football, not only players, but
And high level
board
pressure.
members. Yeah, board members, media, these different stakeholders. It's a different level. And I think that it is more of a risk to hire Nagelsmann than it would be to hire Luis Enrique. And you have to think about this. Our next manager, this
Mm.
is it. You're not hiring this one to sack again. And these two
Imagine,
managers coming in
imagine we sack
very
him like
expensive.
by the end of the season again.
Yeah, and these two managers coming in very expensive. You could best believe that
Yeah.
these two managers will get time, more time than Graham Potter. So
Mm,
this is really it, and I'm really glad that they're going down a route. I want to switch the topic a little bit here.
mm.
I'm really glad that they're going down a route of an interview process rather than just talking to one person because they need to make the right decision. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily believe Nagelsmann is the favorite. There's plenty of I know Fabrizio is opting for Nagelsmann, but you don't know what connections these
He's
journalists
all
have to
about
certain camps.
Nagelsmann, bro. He's all about
You don't,
Nagelsmann.
yeah, you don't know what's certain, but plenty sources coming out saying that there's concerns about Nagelsmann too, and that
Mm,
Nagelsmann is not the dead on set on option,
mm,
only
mm.
option. So I believe that if they were to talk to Enrique, I think they would probably be more convinced by Enrique. But it's if they talk to him or not.
I want to talk to you about two things that just popped in my mind. We'll go with the first one. We'll touch on that interview. That was a really, really good point that you talked about. Chelsea taking a bit more time with the interview. I actually want to talk about the interview process as to what you would look and what I would also look for a manager with what we have at Chelsea Football Club. But before that, we've talked about Luis Enrique with a lot of light. I want to talk about some of the negative points. I mean, I personally don't have all the negative points in my head readily available right now, but I'm pretty sure you'll have some points. But one thing I'm sort of thinking that everyone kind of talks about, obviously the structure is great to have a structure under Luis Enrique, set structure. But a lot of people have this problem, Ryan, that there just seems to be a plan A. But if plan A doesn't seem to work in certain games, there doesn't seem to be an evolve, like a evolution, like a plan B, much like Pep, like he's consistently evolving every season. um, He's always coming up with different plans. Like, does Luis Enrique have some distinct weakness or some areas that you feel that might not be well suited for Chelsea Football Club?
I would say that people need to put context into when they deciding what a plan A is. Listen, from a philosophical point of view, and a framework point of view, Luis Enrique have a set standard, right?
Hmm.
But it is the flexibility within the setup you have to watch. You know what I mean? For
Hmm.
example, Sarri has a certain way of playing, but it's the flexibility to adapt during a game numerically, position-wise, and within your approaches within a framework. So
Hmm.
whereas there's a lot of consistency across the board within Luis Enrique's framework, you need to look a little deeper into it and really dissect what he's trying to do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Um, so from that point of view, I do believe that Luis Enrique, you can see a process with him. And I don't
Yeah.
believe he only has a plan A because in his early days in Spain, and I think he peaked at the Euros around Euros time leading up to that, right?
Hmm.
When he now came into Spain, Spain played completely different to how they played a few months
True.
into it.
True.
And you see that what he wanted them to be first is defensively organized, to be very
Hmm.
organized, and then after he started to implement his play. Second thing is you can't judge an international manager on not getting their play in perfectly because they only have 2 weeks every 2 months to work with them. So how
Yeah.
are you gonna expect him to play like Spain to play like a Manchester City? If Pep Guardiola was training people 10 days a week, 10 days every 2 months, you
He'd
would not see
struggle
Man
too.
City playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, because a lot of what they have there is muscle memory from their clubs.
True.
So, and you need to realize that that Spain team, it is not like a golden generation Spain team Luis Enrique had. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, yes, it had a player like Pedri bursting through, etc. But if you really look at it, and then it had a great number six in Rodri, etc. But if you
Hmm.
look at the other players around in that Spain team, it's not really superstars. Their striking was Morata, you had Fati on the wing, Ferran Torres on the
Ferran
wing,
Torres. Yeah. It wasn't a
agent Jordi
superstar team.
Alba,
Yeah.
agent Jordi Alba, not a
Aspilicueta
great
was still
defensive
playing as
line,
well on the right side.
Aspilicueta on the right,
Yeah.
etc. So it's not necessarily that this was a super team too. So considering all those factors, that it was not a super team, he only had 10 days every 2 months, yet he
Hmm.
still got Spain to perform really well and
They
peak at a
almost
certain
knocked
time.
out Italy. They almost knocked out
Yeah,
Italy as well.
it goes to show that he has something about him,
Hmm.
especially in competition football. He's shown that he has the tactical versatility in competition football too. So I think that those are lazy analysis to just say he has a
Hmm.
plan A. People just assume that he plays the Barcelona style of play and that he isn't flexible. But I don't. I think that is very far from the case.
Anything, and also he has a lovely Twitch account. That's a plus point, when a manager
Yeah,
has,
get him on the show, bro.
why not collab? I would love to collab with him. Um, Before I move on to that interview stuff, I think that's going to be an interesting conversation to have. Anything that worries you about Luis Enrique? Would you say? We've talked about obviously Nagelsmann, pros, cons. Any cons in regards to Luis Enrique that you'd want to highlight and let people be aware of that this is somewhere there could be a bit of an issue?
The only concern I have is that he's not linked stronger to Chelsea right now. I have no concerns with Nagel. Not with Luis Enrique. Sorry, I have no concerns with him.
The fact that he's only not linked, that's the only thing. But
That
besides that,
yeah, that
he's
there isn't
he's
stronger links. That's the only
that
concern I have right now with him.
besides that, he's your man. He's your man. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. In regards to the interview, it was a good point that you said. Um, take time and really assess the candidates. Ron, if you were the person taking the interview, right? In this case, obviously, Lawrence Stewart and Vivell and Paul Winstanley. What would excite you when these candidates are coming and presenting their case as to how they want to lead Chelsea football? What are some of the things that you want to tick off that? Yep, that's what I wanted. Yep, that's another tick for you. Yep, that's yeah. to- total package, you're the right guy for me. What are some of the things that you want to see that are tick marks for you as the new Chelsea manager, with the squad and the project, the redevelopment of stadium, multi structure model with different clubs? What would you want to see?
So I'm not gonna say something stupid like win, full stop. Okay? But that is a given. You need to win. But
Mm.
I think that what you're looking at, Miz, is that you need to look at how our project has been, the type of signings. We just signed some brother I don't even know for nearly 20 million pounds
Some
the other day.
15-year-old.
Yeah, so if we invest in that money into our scouting. Oh, by the way, I just want to say something, right? Somebody tweeted today, and thousands of people liked it, saying that um, sacking Graham Potter is the first good decision this board has made since they came. I just want to say, listen, the board has gotten us frustrated a lot over the past few months, but let's have it really, really right. That,
That's 2 weeks in a row now you said that.
yeah, let's have it right, bro. That the board has done a lot of good. They have really changed the structure within our club. The kind of scouting we have within our club is top class now. The kind of personnel we have in the at board level to make footballing decisions is very good now, and I believe that it will come to fruition. A lot of changes has been made, but I think there's a lot of good has been done. But please just put the final good, which is one of the most important goods in getting the right manager. But anyways, let me move on to the real question that you're saying. Is
Mm.
that why I start talking about project is because what you want someone is someone who could lead this type of project. So now you need to look at what type of club Chelsea aims to be.
Yeah.
For mid-table clubs, it's like for people pushing six in Europa, they are selling clubs. So even though they want to make European football, they want to develop players and sell them off. So they need to be good with young players, right? I think
Mm.
And then you have some other clubs that are different mold is that we don't care about developing players. We want the biggest stars, and we want you to find a way to make all the biggest stars work together, right?
Mm. Important. Important. Yes.
But I feel like Chelsea now, there's a kind of middle ground where it's a kind of mixture of both. Now,
Mm.
there is the biggest stars in world football that is coming to Chelsea, but they all seem to be from a very young age category. So one, you need to be able to develop two types of young players if you want to come into Chelsea. One, very, very young players who are 18 years old, 19 years old, who are still finding their feet, like a Datro Fofana, like a Madueke, etc.
Mm.
And then the other side of young players who are very experienced, like a Enzo, like a João Felix, who don't need to find their feet,
Mm.
but they need to learn how to jump high now. Because they already find
Mm.
their feet, they could already run. Now they have to start leaping hurdles now. So it's two types of young players you need to be able to develop, both from a tactical and technical point of view, but also from a mental point of view. So that's the most important thing, in addition to winning during the process. So now
Mm.
it's a really tough job. It's developing these two styles of players, two categories of players, sorry, all while implementing your philosophy and winning trophies. It's a difficult project because this is the beginning of our young project. One day, Enzo and these guys will be 25 years old, and we wouldn't need
Mm.
to just bring in and have 10, no, 8 players being under 22. Our project wouldn't be under 22s forever or under 23s. But as of right
Yeah.
now, it is. As of right now, it is. So we need someone who could take over the right now.
Mm.
And young players is a huge part of it. So I think so that's one thing,
Mm.
right? They're gonna look at. I'm just gonna say the other thing in 5 seconds because I don't want to just give a lecture here, right? But
Now we
the
enjoy
other
the
thing is,
lectures, bro. We
it's just
do.
it's just it's just the communication standpoint. How you're looking at how to
Mm.
communicate with this board, how to work with this board. They say that cooperation is very, very, very important, and I think that for example, at a Barcelona, you could look that they have a lot of different stakeholders within the board because it's not just a owner and this and that. It's owner, it's president, it's this, it's
Mm.
that, and then it's the manager. So I think that they're looking at someone who not only could people just make it out and say dumb remarks like reply to WhatsApp chats. No, it's someone who could work in a hierarchy. Someone who could work within a
No, look, that
hierarchy.
was an issue with Tuchel, but he didn't reply to
Yeah,
WhatsApp. He
yeah.
made a double blue, but didn't reply.
it's someone who could work within a hierarchy. Some people saying, "Oh, it's just communication with the board." Nagelsmann won't have a problem communicating with the board. But the thing is, you are not only communicating with the owners here. You need to be able to communicate with all the football and minds that has around the club, so that we can have
Yeah.
one vision. So it's a lot. It's a lot of caps this manager has to wear for a 35-year-old. That could be too much caps, too many right now.
Mm.
I think it's a big job for Nagelsmann. It's a really difficult one considering all the facts. And I think Luis Enrique is prime. There's only two names in world football right now that I think is ready and prime who's available to come in, and that's Luis Enrique and Zinedine Zidane. Zidane is not linked to us, so it has to be Luis Enrique for me.
You know, people talk about, I think the owners are looking for a yes man. You know, we can't have Luis Enrique or XYZ because they don't come across as yes man. Well, I think our owners are starting to learn as well and learning from their mistake from last summer. Now, a lot of the footballing decisions are getting, controlled by Vivell, Winston Lee, Stewart, and whoever else that are in charge. So I don't really necessarily think the yes man concept will fly anymore. We don't necessarily need that because the owners, I think, have somewhat distanced themselves away from making day to day footballing decisions. So,
And they can't have a no man either.
yeah,
They can't have a no man because you're trying to build something. You're trying to build a family here. You're trying to build everybody on the same page.
exactly. You can't have someone that's just going to say, no, I don't like
Let me
that. I
just
don't.
build this is Luis Enrique club from now. I don't give a shit
Luis
about
Enrique
anything else that's
FC.
built. Yeah, I this is all about me, my stuff. I don't care about anything else. So it's either me or nothing. I can't have that either.
You can't. You have to. I think this is where the word collaboration, and I sometimes joke around with this, right? And I say, collab. Like, the owners want to have like Eunice, me, all you can eat Chelsea collaboration or something like that. But I think I get the collaboration now. As you said, you can't have a no person either. Like I oppose to everything. It's my way or
Yeah,
highway. Like you have to
yeah, it
understand.
can't. It needs to be some compromise within any company.
Hundred
Not only
percent.
your company, you coming to work for a company, you're not coming to be CEO of the company.
Imagine I rock up today
Sometimes
at
we need to
work
think
and I just
about
say to my manager,
football
I'm
like a
not
real
doing that.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to think about football like a real organization sometimes. You are
100%.
coming to coach the team, not to be CEO of Chelsea Football Club.
Exactly. That's well said. I want to talk a little bit about Pochettino, right? Some parts of our fan base are really pushing for Pochettino. I personally, Ryan, I feel like just has that Spurs bottle job gene in him, man. Like, I don't know whether I'm being fair to him or not. I'm not sure, but I look at him at PSG with the caliber of players he had and the way he got sort of buckled, the way he buckled against Real Madrid. I still remember. I don't know if you were there in the watch along last season, but our man at Vade was in the mud for 90% of that match. And then the final 10%, all of a sudden PSG lost. And I feel like, wow, and what happened post that, the fallout in PSG, and they didn't even end up winning the Serie A. Obviously, they're not going to win the Serie A. They didn't even end up winning Liga. I think it was Lille, and then obviously his time at Spurs took them to Champions League final. Didn't do well there, but I do understand he made Spurs relevant. He really did. Before Pochettino, I never paid any attention to Spurs. He made Spurs a top six club, brought in some really, really good talent from the academy in the likes of Harry Kane and, Dele Alli, I don't think was from the academy, but, young player. And they were playing very, very good football, and he was working well with young players. He's got good history with Southampton, with, I believe, Espanyol before that. I don't know, but Ryan, I just I don't want that Spurs blood, bro. I really don't.
One, I don't think it's Spurs blood. I really do not think it's Spurs blood because I think that you need to put some context into it too. Spurs is
Mm,
a club that unfortunately does not belong at the level that their fans make it out to be. Um, they are not a mid-table club. They are above
Yeah.
mid-table, but they are not a
Uh,
Champions League title winning club.
True. There's something in
And not
between.
Champions League title winning team. I said
Mm.
Champions League title winning club from top to bottom. They are
Yeah.
not. So when you look at the type of managers they've had for the past 10 years, I would say that Pochettino has done the best job there. Out
True
of
call.
Mourinho and out of Conte, two world-class
Mm.
managers, right?
Yeah.
From Pochettino, what he did in La Liga was fantastic, his work there, right?
Mm.
When he managed in La Liga, because I remember when I was doing top four tactics,
Mm.
I was watching all Barcelona games,
Mm.
and I think it's Real Sociedad he used to coach,
Was it
if
Real
I'm not,
Sociedad or Espanyol?
I'm not
I could be wrong.
sure.
Anyway.
It's one of those, but I
Yeah.
remember I watched two Barcelona games where they played Pochettino's team. And the way Pochettino's team played, even from a young manager, they played with so much intensity. They played so good. It was the only game that I couldn't really analyze. You know which team I was analyzing to?
Mm.
Luis Enrique's team. No, no, not Luis Enrique's team. Sorry, it was before that. It was before that. It was before that. But
Mm.
I was analyzing Barcelona, and they were the only team that couldn't analyze Barcelona because they was getting so much trouble
Yeah.
facing Pochettino's team. They wasn't getting to dominate possession. It was so intense. So I think that throughout his career, he isn't just a Tottenham manager. He's done really well before Tottenham
Mm.
too. Then again, I would say I would put his experience at PSG within the same bracket. Is that that club from top to bottom has shown consistently that no matter what, they can't win the big one.
True.
They cannot win the big one. So I'm not going to judge Pochettino for not winning the big one, right?
Mm.
Because none of the previous managers has either, even Thomas Tuchel,
Yeah.
right? So, and then, so I wouldn't judge him too much there. Is he the best candidate for Chelsea? Honestly, miss,
Don't
I would
say
not
it.
say he's the best,
Yes.
but is he? When I think about it, he
He's not the
could be.
worst either. He's not worst either.
No, he could be one of the best.
Mm.
He could be over Nagelsmann for me.
Mm.
Because when I think about the criteria I just put you asked from a meeting point of view, if you'd asked me in the beginning of this podcast, I would say Nagelsmann over Pochettino. But when
Mm.
I really just open up my mind a little bit and like self-analyze, I'm just now introspect. Working with two phases of young players, check Pochettino could do that and develop them from a mental and tactical and technical point of view. From
Mm.
dealing with different types of boards. I mean, you did deal with Daniel Levy for so long. You must have some skill on how to deal with a board,
True.
right? And
Yeah.
even having that experience at PSG, which is a difficult place to work,
Very
check.
difficult.
He can work with different stakeholders, right? And
Mm.
then three, from a tactical point of view, he has done the best out of Mourinho and Conte with what he had. And you could say that he developed that Tottenham team from nothing to something, whereas Conte and Mourinho took over that team from something and didn't make it to anything more.
Mm.
He's the one who developed the Kanes, the Sons, the this, the that.
True.
He's the Dele Alli's, the Ericssons. He's the one who made those guys superstars. Always remember that. So I think that he ticks a lot of boxes.
Mm.
Obviously, as opposed to Enrique, where I say there's no really negatives. But with Pochettino, you could see some negatives that he's not a proven winner when it comes on the
Mm.
trophies. And that would be the main thing I think with Pochettino. That's the main thing. And no, but you could ask 10 people, and 9 out of 10 will tell you he's a good manager. But if you ask those same 10 people, do you want him at Chelsea, and they're Chelsea fans, it will be way less than 9 out of 10 people that would say yes because of that one thing. He has not
Mm.
proven to be a title winning manager. And that's what Nagelsmann have over him. Nagelsmann has won titles in a short space of time.
And some people have been saying that, especially the clash between, and I don't. I don't take this as the be all or the end all, but I can understand, people are saying when Chelsea face Spurs, and if you do end up dropping points, then there's going to be that whole, backlash. Oh, Pochettino, do you know what I mean? Spurs, ex-Spurs, manager bottling it against, and that could potentially, end up being a bit of a headline. Me, for personally, I don't like to look at those things. I don't want to downplay it either, like it's minor, or it's a small thing, but I don't want to make it that oh, that's the biggest reason why I don't want to get someone like Pochettino. But I think that just adds to the pressure as well, having someone like Pochettino. Ryan, we're going to slowly wrap things up. I mean, we haven't spoken about this interim guy, Bruno Saltor, I think, is going to be taking control of us over the next fixture against Liverpool. I don't know whether he's going to be the manager, the interim manager for Wolves. I think our club really do want to have a particular manager ready for Real Madrid. Ryan, do you want someone in quick, or do you want Karma? Me personally, I want to see someone before Real Madrid. I don't know this Bruno Saltor guy, and for me, that Real Madrid fixture is very important.
Yeah, me neither. I think Simon Phillips tweeted it out too that his best source said that we really want somebody in before Real Madrid. So even when in that interview with Bruno too, he basically saying that, listen, I'm part of Potter's team. I'm only here just to stay ship for a little bit. He has no interest in taking over Chelsea on a long-term basis. No interest really. He just, he got permission from Potter to stay for a little bit just to help in the transition. So I don't think with him, I 100% want someone in as quickly as possible. I think that if the owners was now doing their homework on managers, it's kind of weird because you surely for about since that Southampton game, you should have been thinking about managers, right? So
How
it's
does
not
that
like
make you feel? Why are
you're now
you doing
Googling on
homework
football
now?
saying best foot managers in European football and is going through seeing who have a job who don't have no. So I'm hoping that I could get done before Friday. So after the Liverpool game, which is tomorrow for me, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow
So
for me as well.
yeah, so I'm hoping that after that fixture, sometime Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that we could have a permanent manager in because we need to get him as soon as possible if we're gonna get in some training sessions and stuff before Real Madrid. Because Real Madrid is next week, right?
Real Madrid is next week.
Right.
There's some Twitter accounts going and putting on, names such as Bruno Hive, and doing compilations of
Saying he's
Bruno,
the best ball manager in Premier
best
League.
ball manager. I mean,
Listen, Stefan
these
Ten
people,
Hag.
These people are going as far to the extent of saying, if he gets a victory against Liverpool and Wolves, I think Bruno deserves the Real Madrid game. He deserves. I mean, I don't want to entertain any of that. I feel like now
He
I
even
don't even
said it
think,
though. He's only coaching for like what 4 years.
bro. Surely these players are just gonna manage themselves, right? Like
Yeah.
they're gonna move in. I'm pretty sure whoever, if it's Kovacic, he's the captain. I think he'll just get the
Bruh,
team together and just go, look,
imagine Potter's on the phone in the earpiece. He's still with us. Making sure the boys are giving everything.
make sure the boys give it all, give it everything. We need them to give everything. Now, I mean, Ryan, on a serious note, to end things, the players are just going to manage themselves, right, over the next few fixtures until the new manager comes in. I mean, they'll just talk amongst each other, and I mean, what's Bruno going to say? Like, as if like they've not listened to Graham Potter all this. Don't like it. All of a sudden they're going to listen to Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I mean?
Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, we need to get in Enrique Iglesias, bro. No, honestly, yeah, I think you're 100% right, bro. Tomorrow is gonna be all about uh individual, like on their football basis and how they could play football. I think it'll be best to just keep the tree at the back what we were building on for the past
Yeah.
2 months, so you could still have some organization in there. So I hope that we could just use the same. I remember this guy worked with Potter too, so it's basically going to be Potter
Mm.
ball tomorrow. Tomorrow he's still here with us, bro. Potter ball is
He's
still here.
he's here, and
And you know what? I wouldn't. People talk about new manager bounce. I wouldn't be surprised that it has a new manager bounce from tomorrow. Because best believe everybody on that short list is watching that Liverpool match tomorrow. Just to have an idea. Which players do I want to play? Which players will I start with against Real
bit
Madrid?
of audition, huh? You think bit of
Yeah.
audition
So
for the players?
even though Bruno is there tomorrow, I believe that all the players will come with a little more energy because every player wants to improve that new manager, even if he's not there already.
Liverpool's about to get it, aren't they? They're about to get it. It's going to be a 4-0 Chelsea win. Come on. Yes.
Oh
They're about to
yeah,
get
you say you wanted to end it on a serious note. I don't know if that's really it, bro.
it. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end things up. Obviously, we'll see each and every one of you guys for the watch along. Ryan will be here. Of course, I'll be here. Sai Krishna with his laughs here and there. He'll be here. It'll be interesting to see how Sai feels because he was under the impression there's no way Potter is going to leave. So we'll talk about that. Smash up the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed Miz and Ryan. That's Life podcast. And let us know in the comment section, what do you think? You know, who's best suited as the next Chelsea manager? And make sure you follow. Sorry for the loud noise in the background. Some trucks are just backing up in the street. But yeah, follow Ryan in social media at Carefree Place YouTube. And if you go to his Twitter page, you'll see the YouTube channel link as well. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and let us know how you've enjoyed this second episode. Till next time, everyone. Take care and see ya.